Mr. Dieter Bond here actually noticed a bulge
Hmm.
um, in the inside fold of his screen.
I thought you were going to
Um,
say the front of his pants.
I mean, maybe that too. I think if I saw a screen that nice, I might have a little bit of a chub too.
Yeah, right. uh, Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Tether Radio podcast, the only podcast keeping you from spiraling out into the infinite abyss. I'm your host, Daniel, and I'm joined today by someone who is quickly becoming a regular on the show, Matt Redden.
I'm back,
I'm
bitches.
back, bitches. But wait, what if I was to tell you there's more? I also have a buddy that decided to pop in and was nice enough to guest on this episode. I have Aaron Hoskins in quotation marks studio today with me. Aaron, you want to say hello?
What's up, y'all?
Aaron is the drummer for the Dirty Governors, a band based in, I guess you guys are based in Knoxville, right?
Yeah.
Or Johnson City, maybe?
No, Knoxville.
What would you consider
Yeah.
Knoxville? Okay.
I mean, we did Capone's a couple hundred times, but
Yeah, right. But yeah, so Aaron's going to be opining on the shenanigans and shit show that is the world that we're living in. And I guess we'll just start off with Matt. How was your week, man?
It's going well. I was off most of it. I'm on night shift right now, so you'll have to forgive me if I get a little lost through my stories here.
Gotcha. All right. And Aaron, you have a pretty good week, man.
yeah, I actually just got back from Jamaica on Tuesday. One of my best friends is Jamaican, and he took us down and showed us around.
Pretty good time.
It's a good place.
It's a good place.
Yeah.
It's a good place for beer and all sorts of shit.
Yeah,
so.
you can relax there if that's what you're looking for.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Well, yeah, dude, I was trying to think of, if there's any, like, kind of mentions at the beginning, of the show that we might have wanted to do that we're not gonna cover fully. I know that, pretty much everything that's on the news, the whole reason that I didn't want to cover it is because I feel like it's been covered ad nauseum. But like the big cathedral fire, at Notre Dame, right? And,
Yeah.
that's kind of shitty, man. No bueno. So if you want to check that out, I'm sorry you're listening to the wrong podcast. But I'm sure that Google News / Reddit / Twitter / basically anything on the internet, you can fill in the gaps. But with that, we'll go ahead and start the show. All right. So I pulled this first one from a local news. Well, actually, my wife sent this to me, and it's super short, but I figured it was worth a mention. So, then this came out of Painesville, Ohio. But the name of the article was "Police: Ohio man accused of throwing iguana in restaurant." So, there's literally not much to this in the least, but basically what happened was this dude rolls into a restaurant in Ohio and gets like super pissed off for some reason. It's not even said in the article why he was mad. And he pulls an iguana out from under his shirt and slings it around and throws it at the manager in the store. So I don't know if that would be like, I'm sure there's a joke in there, assault with some kind of weapon, but but I don't have the joke on
It's just a good old case of lizard launching, man.
lizard launch. Exactly, dude. Exactly. But yeah, so the dude apparently like hammer throws this iguana into the fucking manager and then jets. And so the police picked him up like about 30 miles, from the I guess where the scenario played out. But he was charged with disorderly conduct and resisting arrest and, of course, animal cruelty. So I hope that the last thing is I guess the police thought it appropriate to name the iguana, of which they've dubbed Copper. So, yeah, I don't know why, but, and just in case you are wondering and you're like a big PETA supporter and all this, the iguana is being, looked over at a local veterinary hospital to, make sure that it didn't sustain injuries and stuff. So, but yeah, so I figured that was worth a mention. I guess, let this be a lesson. Don't fucking throw iguanas. I don't know. But,
Man, I just like that this guy is having lunch at a Perkins on Tuesday and pulls an iguana out from under his shirt.
yeah, exactly. I mean, okay, so let's dive into this actually for 1 second. Do you think this was premeditated?
I mean, did he just have an iguana in his shirt? Is that something he does?
It had to have been premeditated. Like, who thinks to throw an iguana? Like, out of all the things you could just pick up and throw at someone, iguana.
Do you think the iguana was like a one of those like anxiety animals or something? And he just like fucking got super worked up and just decided to, it was the closest thing that he could grab to throw.
Oh man.
I just want to know if it is. Why is it under his shirt, too?
See, I feel like it's a crime of passion. Clearly.
Yeah, right. Oh my god, man. But yeah, so figured that was worth a mention. But I want to get into this next one because, dude, this woman, which Joseph and I actually covered this on one of our before Tether Radio actually started having published episodes. We wanted to record a few just to get comfortable going through, articles and kind of try to get like a cadence and just, all that jazz. Excuse me. So we actually did cover this, but it's not in a published episode because it happened back in May of 2018. But anyway, so this woman, and her name is, I believe, Jacqueline AIDS. She has been, she's currently in the legal system fighting this case, but the name of the article was, woman accused of harassing man with 159,000 texts. And then she was quoted as saying, I can't believe that I'm actually in jail over some text messages. Okay, this woman sent 159,000 text messages over the course of 10 months. So taking an average of 30 days a month, that's about 300 days. We broke it down. That's roughly 530 text messages every day.
Dang.
That is a fuck ton of text messages. That is not some text messages. So, but anyway. The plot fucking thickens. So, this woman basically went on one date with this guy, became obsessed with him, started text messaging him like all the time. For the first 3 months, he actually was like responding and all this stuff. And then I think she felt some distance growing between her and her like solo date, like fucking dude. And, basically started threatening him through text messages. So he was like, well, fuck this dude. I'm not going to mess with this bitch. And so anyway, she was actually, once she started threatening him, she was actually accused of, or not accused, but I mean, they literally have text messages that are quoting her, talking about her wearing his flesh and devouring his organs, in addition to like wanting to bathe in his blood. Okay. That's some batshit fucking crazy shit if I do say so myself. Now, even after that, she gets accused of this and ends up in jail. And they decide that, they had her looked over by a mental health professional, or 3 of them, I'm sorry. And 2 of them decided that she was mentally incompetent to stand trial. And then, but she was, and I want to get this quote correct. Oh, but restorable. And then the third guy was like, yeah, this woman is not mentally competent to stand trial. So, I've never heard of anything like mentally incompetent but restorable. Are you guys familiar with that term or that at all?
I think my wife's said that about me before.
Yeah, right. But I mean, like, I feel like you're either mentally competent or mentally incompetent. It's kind of a cut and dry thing, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not sure where these guys were going with this.
Yeah.
She sounds like she's pretty far gone.
Yeah, exactly. Well, so they actually, because they said that she was restorable, the two guys did, they actually delayed the trial by 60 days in order to allow them to basically restore her competence, kind of thing.
I don't think you can do that in 60 days.
I don't think you could do that in like
Probably not 60
fucking
years.
yeah. It's like it's one of those things that like what the fuck, man. But anyway, so just to put the like icing on the cake or the cherry on top of the sundae, she decided her lawyer wanted her to take like a plea bargain kind of thing so that she would have like her sentence reduced and like the time that she's already served in jail would apply and all that jazz. And she's like, no. I don't want to do any of that. I'm very, very confident that if we take this before a jury, that not only are they not going to no, actually I want to quote this woman. Let's see. So in the article they said that she wants to go to trial where she's positive the jury will not only find her not guilty, but will order her and the man she's accused of stalking to marry. So she's quoted as saying, they're going to say, you're not guilty, and on top of it, we like demand that you two get married.
Oh man.
I'm like, have you ever heard of like a court required marriage?
Is she going on Judge Judy?
Yeah, right.
What is happening?
Exactly, dude. It's like, I mean, you can't make this shit up. Like, this woman is so fucking off her rocker that, like, I don't even know, man. But I do have to say that we will be following this. We will be following this story for sure. So,
man, my favorite part of this, you didn't even touch on.
Yeah.
She says she was abducted by Walt Disney in a spaceship.
Yeah, and he's part of the Illuminati.
Yeah. So I think she's the victim here.
Yeah. And then did they have something about her her mom was like basically like, don't tell people that shit. You know? Her mom's like, yeah, God, where was that quote? Oh yeah, here he is. Does that sound crazy? It sounds like I'm crazy. My mom says they're going to put you back in Rule 11 court if you go around telling people. But this is the true story. I'm not lying.
She's the victim, man.
Dude, that is just absolutely like... Oh yeah, and then I also forgot to mention, during the time that she was stalking this dude, she ended up, let's see, first of all, he saw that she was parking her car outside of his house, and I mean, literally just like watching him and shit. And she would send text messages like, "Oh, what I would do with your blood? I'd want to bathe in it." And then they found her taking a bath in the guy's house with a large butcher knife in her car. So I mean, like, I think that the fucking one dude that was a mental health professional that okayed this bitch needs to fucking have his license pulled.
No kidding.
I mean, shit, dude. I'm not even a fucking mental health professional, and I can tell you this woman's batshit. So
they are not going to restore her.
No. Restoration is out of the question. But yeah, so, and then I think they said, I was trying to remember exactly what, so the psychologist will have, up to 21 months to restore, AIDS to competency or deem her not restorable. I believe that I believe she's just buying time at this point.
Oh my God, this
But
woman is just psychotic.
yeah, dude. So Jacqueline Aids, if you happen to be a listener of the Tether Radio podcast, I believe you're fucked, woman. So I'd throw in the towel.
Oh man.
But anyway, so enough about crazy women and their antics to stalk dudes with shit tons of text messages. Let's go into the tech realm. Matt, you want to take us there?
Yeah, so I can get us into this one. So this next one comes to us from The Verge. It's by Dieter Bahn. He is a reviewer for The Verge, and he got his new Samsung Galaxy Fold in this past week.
Have you seen? Are you familiar with this phone?
I am. It's
Okay.
it was a pretty interesting phone that they announced back with their Galaxy S10
Yeah.
announcements. I think in March it was.
Yeah.
So it was touted as being like the world's first foldable phone with a full screen. That was the big gimmick, is that when you fold this phone open, it's nothing but just one huge screen.
Yeah.
They're able to do that due to OLED technology. They've been touting it for years that it's bendable, and so that there's all these different applications for it, and you could like essentially roll up a screen if you needed to with OLED.
Which LG had something at CES, I believe, this year that it was like it literally was like a poster TV with like a breakout box that actually had all the components, right?
Yeah, so LG's actually had something that they've dubbed the wallpaper TV out for maybe 2 or 3 years at this point, and it's not considered foldable, but it is considered flexible, and it's the thinnest TV out on the market, and it's actually held up against the wall by magnets. Is how you suspend it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a pretty interesting concept. A lot of high-end smartphones nowadays are made with these OLED screens as well. But the issue with this one has been that all these reviewers have been getting this phone in and have started noticing that their screens are going out. The inside screens are going out within the first 1 to 2 days of just normal use.
Yeah.
Mr. Dieter Bahn here actually noticed a bulge in the inside fold of his screen.
I thought you were going to say the front of his pants.
I mean, maybe that too. I think if I saw a screen that nice, I might have a little bit of a chub too.
Yeah, right.
But he noticed a bulge on the inside fold of the screen, and didn't think too much of it at first. Tried to figure out what it was, but couldn't really get it to either brush off of the screen or come out from under it. And later reported that by the end of 1 day's worth of use, that his screen, just a half of it essentially had gone dead, or looked like it was showing signs of screen cracking from that bulge area.
Yeah.
Some other notable tech reviewers that had similar issues were Steve Kovac, Mark Gurman from Bloomberg, and Marquise Brownlee of MKBDH fame. But one thing of note that has come out from Samsung over the past few days with this issue is that there's a protective screen that comes with the Fold on the inside screen. And it looks very similar to like the protective plastic that comes with a lot of phones and electronics.
Yeah.
And I believe it was both Marquise Brownlee and Mark Gurman that had attempted to remove this protective screen. And their screens pretty much went dead within hours of removal.
Oh, wow.
I think when they contacted Samsung, or this may be just part of Samsung's official statement they've released since all of this has been happening, is that this is actually not a protective screen. It is indeed part of the phone, and they're calling it a protective polymer layer. It's not meant to be removed. Marquise Brownlee even mentioned that his when he was starting to remove it, he could feel some pretty good resistance against it from being pulled off, and that's actually why he stopped before you
That
can
was what I was
remove
gonna, yeah, that's what actually what I was gonna ask. Cause I mean, obviously with the protective plastic stuff for like new electronic devices and stuff, I mean, it's pretty easy to pull off, but like the picture that's in the article, I mean, that looks like a pretty substantial piece of like, or film, I guess, you know?
Yeah, I would definitely describe it more as a film as
Yeah.
opposed to just a protective layer because it looks like this thing's just been like crumpled up
Yeah.
and like still is retaining its shape. It's definitely not just one of those little flimsy pieces of plastic that you just pull off of any new electronic that you get. But I
Yeah.
mean, in their defense, like, fair enough assumption that you would just remove a plastic film that's on your
Yeah.
phone. Like, no, I'm sure
Totally.
nobody thought that this was, part of it. I know um Marquise Brownlee, I actually watched his video about this as well. He was saying like there's portions of it that don't completely seal or not necessarily line up, but
Mhm.
butt up against any of the edges. So
Uh,
it looks like it's meant to be peeled off, or that you can get something underneath it.
yeah.
But that seems to be one of the big issues.
Mhm.
The other issue, obviously, with Dieter Bonds, and then I think Steve Kovac was the other one. They
Mhm.
both noticed like small grains or um, bulges in their screens, and that's where their screens actually started going dead from. Is it originated at that spot and then slowly spread throughout the day.
Do they
Um,
have any idea, like, what, I mean, was it just, I mean, do they think that it was like debris? Did they think, it was just from like multiple times opening and closing it kind of thing, just like creating almost like a crease or something, or?
so the Verge article mentioned that there didn't seem to be any noticeable issues as
Mhm.
far as debris getting in there. They said that they had fairly normal use. They weren't like out at the beach using the phone or
Mhm.
chomping on some cookies and then, getting down in there. They said that potentially it could have been a factory defect or perhaps a piece of the hinge had broken off inside of the phone and managed to like wedge its way into that hinge.
Mhm.
That also seems fairly far-fetched. I
Yeah.
think more than likely it's probably either a factory defect or there was some type of particle on the screen when this film was applied, and
Gotcha.
now that's causing the issue. But it all seems to kind of come back to this film layer. Like if there's anything, like if the film layer is removed or anything underneath it, it seems to be bricking the screen basically.
Yeah.
And it's a $2,000 phone essentially.
Jesus.
So
Yeah,
replacing one of these bad boys
Dieter.
is not going to be
Yeah.
easy.
Dieter Bond's like, yeah, the phone worked great, and then I was marching down on some Cheetos, and I forgot to wash my hands, and I got Cheeto dust up in there.
We've all been there.
Yeah,
And so much Cheeto.
yeah, right.
Man, if this screen protector layer is so important, they shouldn't make it so easy to remove.
Yeah, right. Like it seems like there would be a better like sealant or adhesive or something, because it's like, I mean, I would assume that this thing. I don't know if I've ever had a phone past. Well, granted, I've only had iPhones for the past like whatever 4 years, but I mean, all of those have come with one of the protective layers,
Sure.
kind of thing. So
Yeah.
I'm assuming that this would ship with one also. I mean, I'm assuming that is the assumption with all these guys. So I don't know why.
Well,
I
I'm
don't know
fairly
why
certain
this would
the
be.
outside comes with a protective film layer, like you would typically see. So no reason to think that there wouldn't be one on the inside protecting the screen as well.
Yeah.
I know that it was also mentioned in one of the videos I watched about this that there were no warnings about this on the review units sent to all these people,
Hmm.
and that it looked like a unit from a T-Mobile store, I believe,
Yeah.
actually did have a small warning on the box about not removing this layer on the screen.
Oh wow. I wonder.
So
That's kind of random that a random like cell phone or not cell phone company, but like the cell service company would put a warning on there, right?
yeah,
And
and
not
they
the
were unable
manufacturer.
to establish that if it was like this was something that was going to be on all of the um, providers'
Mhm.
boxes or if it was specifically to T-Mobile.
Okay.
But hopefully they release some type of statement about this, because once this reaches the public at large, like, I think they're gonna have a lot of broken screens and a lot of unhappy people.
Yeah, a lot of returns or
Yeah.
refunds.
Yeah.
But
Well, they have made progress from the exploding phones. So
yeah,
That's
give
true.
them a little bit of credit.
yeah, that they're actually quoted as saying, "At least it didn't explode." Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. All right, well, rock and roll, man. We'll go ahead and cruise on to this next one, man. I swear, I feel like we're slingshotting ourselves into the future with this next article. I pulled it from Wired. It's called "CRISPR Gene Editing is Coming for the Womb." Now, I believe that we did cover something, I can't remember, and I should have looked into it, but we covered something about CRISPR in an earlier episode. Basically, if you're not familiar with it, CRISPR is a family of DNA sequences found within the genomes of prokaryotic organisms such as bacteria and archaea. And so basically what they do is they allow basically DNA to be spliced into these CRISPR genes, and then they can inject that to almost force gene editing, pretty much, or like mutations within honestly, well, they're testing it in mice currently, but I think that there was some stuff that came out of China that they were actually testing on humans, like human fetuses and stuff, which was fucking wild. But it's a really, in my opinion, it's a really interesting conversation because as of right now, when you have, and being a parent puts it under a completely different light. And so that's why I'm actually super stoked to get your guys' takes on this. But anyway, so if you're a parent and you receive an in utero diagnosis, then you pretty much have two options. You can terminate the pregnancy or prepare to care for a child who may require multiple invasive surgeries over the course of their lifetime just to survive. So what really kind of comes to mind, basically congenital, like congenital heart defects and stuff like that, or just there are all sorts of diseases that you would have to deal with the rest of your life, kind of thing. And they're thinking that potentially they can make this a problem of the past. So they were actually testing, and it was this William Parenteau. And I was trying to remember, let's see, Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. Yeah. And so they started working with mice, and like I was trying to find the little tidbit. Yeah, here we go. So the placentas of pregnant mice whose unborn pups were afflicted with a lethal lung disease causing mutation. They identified this, and they injected these CRISPR bits into the amniotic fluid for these mice. And then when the mice would breathe in the amniotic fluid, it would put it in their body, and then the CRISPR genes would start doing their thing. And so what they were able to do is basically a quarter, they took it from 0 survival to 25%, which is pretty fucking substantial, especially in something as experimental as this. But then they also, this was actually the second test that they did, because the first one was back in October, and they used the CRISPR gene to change a single base pair in liver cells of prenatal mice, and they were able to rescue nearly all of the mouse pups, and as opposed to the control group that I'm almost positive that it was either 100% death rate kind of thing or approaching 100%. So, I mean, there is definitely promise with this technology for sure. But now having, you know, talked about this, then they talk about how, okay, you're injecting this CRISPR gene stuff into, basically in utero fetuses, you know, because the way for this to be as effective as possible, they have to get it in the organism when their cells are proliferating like hardcore and multiplying, because that's basically, if you change 20% of, you know, 10 cells, you have a higher rate of success than 20% of 1,000 cells, kind of thing. But another caveat is the fact that once they inject this, it's difficult to really specify exactly where they want the changes to occur, kind of thing, and like really direct the gene. So it could end up affecting, like, for instance, they're injecting this into this, you know, these pups in utero. And so they're thinking that it could move into the mother and potentially edit some kind, or create some kind of mutation, genetic mutation within like ovaries or the uterus or something along those lines. So it quickly becomes an ethical issue kind of thing, because of course all the proponents for utilizing this CRISPR gene stuff, they're going to say, hey, you know, think about all the kids that are born with like cystic fibrosis or something like that, you know, and we could potentially have used this CRISPR gene to basically, you know, allow them to, you know, whatever, mute that gene or just get rid of it altogether or whatever. And so you're talking about, you know, being able to cure a huge problematic disease, you know, for people. But where do we stop with this, you know? And that's the problem, because I think that it's almost like a Pandora's box kind of thing. And I was talking to Megan about it a little bit earlier. But it's kind of like, oh, well, you know, now we can make sure that all kids are healthy. Well, so now how tall do you want your kid to be? What color hair do you want your kid to have, kind of thing? Because we've identified these genes and we can use CRISPR to do that too. So what are you guys' thoughts on this? Do you think that this is, you know, I mean, obviously we're talking about, you know, many decades out, but like, what are you guys' thoughts?
So I think this is pretty interesting. I've actually had this discussion with one of my other friends as well. There's a Netflix series that does like these quick little shows, and one of them was on gene editing, and went pretty in depth on CRISPR as well. It's an interesting concept that they're bringing forth with CRISPR and everything that it can do.
Yeah.
But part of what they talked about in this series was that, you know, as far as like health is concerned, like that's a great thing for this CRISPR gene editing process. But when you start talking about other aspects of gene editing, such as how tall do you want your child, how, you know, what color eyes, what color hair, all this kind of stuff, that starts getting into this area where, you know, how much can you pay for your baby, essentially.
Yeah.
And it creates, you know, a cycle of wealth that just, you know, all of the money stays with all of the same people, essentially, because you start having these people that can afford to make these designer babies and, you know, provide them with as many advantages as possible, compared to someone that doesn't.
And that makes sense.
Means.
Yeah.
And, you know, it just kind of feeds into this cycle of privilege and advantage. And so that's another interesting side and kind of topic for discussion with this as well.
Yeah.
And and I don't really know if there's a right or wrong answer with the CRISPR gene stuff. My friend, um, he posed the question to me. He's like, so if you knew that your child was going to have, cerebral palsy or autism or something that could be edited out using the CRISPR gene, would you choose to let your child still have this, or would you edit it out?
Yeah.
And at the time, I told him, I don't think that I would edit it out, but I also I don't have that experience in my life. Like, I don't have a loved one that's, that has one of these debilitating diseases or one of these conditions. So I don't know what it's like to necessarily grow up or live with that around me. So maybe it's easier for me to say, no, I would want my child to be however, natural genetics intended them to be.
Yeah.
But the more I think about it, the more I would, obviously want a healthy child, compared to one that's going to need lifelong, I'm losing the words.
Stuff.
Yeah.
No, I completely agree. Because I mean, it's, it's a very, honestly, because I mean, even having, I think that my kid is semi-healthy with the exception of some allergies and stuff. But I mean, yeah, I mean, I can't imagine making that decision. I mean, that it would be very difficult because, like I said earlier, you're also dealing with the potential that this thing that, well, at this point in time, that they can't really make sure that it remains in the fetus. So you're potentially putting the mother or whoever's carrying the child at risk with no benefits for them, kind of thing. It's literally just like risks,
Yep.
Because for all we know, some kind of gene could get edited in an ovary and cause ovarian cancer, like down the line 5 years or whatever. So it's just a really, which I mean, I guess especially with all like risky medical procedures and stuff, it's always a risk versus benefits kind of situation. So it's like, I mean, I guess if the mother is compliant with it and the couple comes to the conclusion that they want to do it, I guess more power to them. I would be very hesitant to pull the trigger on it, to be honest. But
I mean, I know this is a long way off, but I'm not a parent. You are. I feel like if you're a parent, your job is to give your kid the best life possible.
Yeah.
And if you know your kid is going to have some horrible disease or something that's going to really impact their life, I mean, you want to prevent that, right?
Yeah.
But where it gets weird is what happens down the line.
Yeah.
Where does this go?
Yeah.
If the wrong people start doing this in the wrong way and abuse it, what are we looking? Are people fundamentally different in the future?
Yeah. Well, and that's what I was talking to Megan about. And honestly, Matt, you kind of harped on it, that it's like, even bringing in the socioeconomic ramifications of it, that it's like, okay, then the people that can afford it are going to receive it. And then you're creating this, this circular thing of wealth, because let's say, some NFL player has a kid and he's like, well, shit, dude, I want my kid to be the next fucking whatever, Heisman winner or something, And so I want a kid that's going to be fucking 6'8" and like fucking, 225, ripped, 2% body fat kind of thing. It's just like
wild.
It'll be very interesting to see like where this goes. And I mean, dude, that legislators are already like fucking wringing their hands trying to figure out how to deal with this shit.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
And
they've got to stay on top of this because, it's a very slippery slope between, assuming it gets there, between treating chronic disease and creating superhumans or something.
No shit.
Yep.
And then you have this class of poor people that can't afford it, and they're the only ones that get sick. And that's some pretty scary dystopian stuff right there.
Yeah, no shit, dude.
And there's no telling what
any
like the
Hollywood
long-term
producers.
ramifications could be on the gene pool as well. Like,
Yeah.
this is very new technology. There's no telling if there's going to be long-standing effects to what we see with this.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. It could backfire big time.
Yeah, exactly. We could create xenomorphs or something.
Now, if we're getting into animorphs, I'm totally down with that.
Yeah,
I would
right.
love to have a child that was an animorph.
So I don't really care about my child's height or like hair color or anything, but can you make them be able to turn into an oversized grasshopper?
Yes.
Because that would be fucking awesome.
Yeah, my son turns into a grasshopper. My daughter turns into a cheetah.
Yeah.
You should see them play. It's wild.
Yeah. Oh, she's got a track meet next week.
my only other question is, when you were going through this earlier, you had mentioned CRISPR bits. Do you know where I can find those, and do they come in honey barbecue?
I know, right? Yeah.
I think Chili's has them.
Yeah, exactly. Not only that, dude, but do you think that CRISPR bits are what's causing these Samsung phone screens? Oh, well, I was just chowing down on a nice bag of CRISPR bits. My God, I can't get all the damn crumbs off my fingers. So. Oh, that's awesome. But yeah, we will definitely be keeping an eye on this shit because I don't think this is the last that we're gonna see of CRISPR. So I don't know. I hope that with all technology, you have both sides of it, man. You have people that are thinking to use it for the good, and you got people that are just waiting to abuse it and use it for the bad or whatever. So I think that it'll be very, very, very interesting to see where all this stuff goes. But anyway, we will go ahead and rotate to a little bit less, I guess, serious issue. Of course, we're recording this podcast on Sunday, April 21st. I'm sure that many people are aware that yesterday was 420. If you don't know what that is, that's basically any weed smoker, stoner's, Christmas, basically. And it's been very interesting to watch, how, mainstream, cannabis has become since states started legalizing recreational use for it, and just how much national brands are actually, not giving it, well, honestly, kind of giving it shout outs and stuff. But anyway, so I pulled this article, and it's from the Binghamton homepage. It's some shit that's like from the Associated Press, based out of like Los Angeles, I guess. So we're getting the dirt, the real dirt on the weed. So, but anyway, it's called "Corporate America Embraces 420 as Pot Legalization Grows," and basically what they talk about is, cannabis used to be part of this like counterculture thing, and now that so many states have legalized recreational use of it, and even more states are decriminalizing it to a degree that it's like, basically you get caught with weed, you get a slap on the wrist kind of thing. You might get like a fine, maybe a like night in jail or something. I don't know. I'm not that familiar with weed laws, so but anyway, I just wanted to kind of showcase these companies that decided to do little promos for 420. So I thought this was kind of a funny little paragraph, so I'm just going to read it. But no, Hallmark doesn't yet have a card to mark 420, but many other businesses inside and outside the multi-billion-dollar cannabis industry are using April 20th or 420 to roll out marketing and social media messaging aimed at connecting with consumers, driving the booming market. So it truly is. The cannabis market is a multi-billion with a B dollar market. And it's absolutely insane when you look at the tax revenue that some of these states that have legalized recreational use. They're just, I don't even think they can like rake it in fast enough kind of thing. I want to say that Colorado, the first like either like quarter or maybe 2 quarters after they legalized marijuana, they made something like they had proposed that they were going to make X amount. They ended up making something like 5 or like 10 times what they were expecting to make on like taxes for it. So, you know what, Tennessee, get on board, motherfuckers. Like, there's a lot of money. I say fucking legalize it, fucking get it out there, tax the shit out of it like alcohol, you know.
It's ridiculous. In Tennessee, marijuana is the #1 cash crop in the entire state, and it's illegal.
Yeah.
It's out there. You're not going to get rid of it.
Yeah.
Why don't you tax it?
Make some fucking money, man.
Go put it in, a strip mall. People are buying it anyways. Yeah. Make a little money. Put it into schools or hospitals.
Exactly, dude.
Fix the roads. It's money to be had.
Yeah, but yeah. So, which I'm sure, obviously, the legalization shit. That's a discussion for another time. We can talk about that shit until our faces are blue. But anyway, so on Saturday, or 4/20 yesterday, Lyft decided to offer a $4.20 credit for anybody that wanted to use them, and I thought that was kind of funny. But it was confined, I guess, to Colorado, and then in select cities in the U.S. and in Canada. But and then obviously Totino's, right? Every fucking like stoner has had fucking Totino's pizza rolls. Hell, I'd say that if if your parents were like my parents, that was probably one of your meals like multiple times a week. But anyway, so Totino's, who makes the little like pizza rolls, they tweeted an image of a microwave and an oven with the message, to be blunt, pizza rolls are better when baked. I thought that was pretty fucking clever. But it's just, it's very interesting to see these companies, I mean, you're still going to have the companies that have to have the mass appeal of literally almost everyone. And so they're not going to hop on the train of, whatever, having fun little quips and shit, about like whatever weed jokes and stuff like that. But yeah, it's just crazy. Well, okay. For instance, to just describe how big of an industry this is, the U.S. retail sales of cannabis products jumped to $10.5 billion last year, a 3-fold increase from 2017. So, I mean, dude, there, and this is with what, like 12 states have it legalized or something like that.
Yeah. So,
I mean, like, it's just absolutely insane. And then you've got like people who have always been proponents of legalizing weed, like Ben and Jerry's. their shares are gonna fucking go up with every state that hops on board. But they actually started to basically call for decriminalization and basically wanted to bring attention to the fact that there are all of these, lots of people of color, that's how literally the article describes it, but people of color that have been jailed because of absolutely ridiculous, charges because of weed. And I mean, hell, people of color, people not of color, just the fact that that people are being jailed for this shit. I mean, I feel like our jail system could be better utilized elsewhere. Yeah. Let me put it that way.
It's absurd.
But yeah, so anyway, rotating from this, but staying on the, not really the cannabis, because I guess we're moving over to hemp at this point, which I'm still trying to figure out, the difference between the two. But anyway, dude. Do you actually know? Do either of you guys know what the difference is between like other than the amount of like THC kind of thing?
So the way I understood it is the hemp plant can be used for a lot of stuff, and only I believe it's the female plant can actually, or produce the THC to get somebody high.
Yeah.
And it has to be pollinated.
Gotcha.
So just a regular hemp plant could be used to make rope or bags or something.
Because, and I think that was actually, like, I mean, people have used, I mean, shit, dude, like Native Americans used hemp to like make shit like, you know, back in the day.
George Washington grew hemp at Mount Vernon, to make rope and stuff.
Yeah,
with it.
exactly. Cause I mean, it's a super fucking cheap thing. You can grow it almost anywhere.
Yeah.
And it's just very versatile kind of thing. But anyway, we ain't talking about him. So you wanna bite off a piece of this next one, Matt?
Yeah, I've got some tasty news for you. So for anybody that was looking to celebrate 420 in Denver yesterday, if you passed by a Carl's Jr., you may have gotten a nice little whiff of something in there. So for one day only, Carl's Jr. was offering a Rocky Mountain High Cheeseburger Delight. It was $4.20, and it was a monument of a sandwich. 2 beef patties, pickled jalapenos, pepper jack cheese, waffle fries, not on the side, on the burger, and then 5 milligrams of CBD extract in its Santa Fe sauce.
Dude, I mean, that just sounds like a fucking stoner burger.
Yeah, even if you remove the CBD from it, I feel like you have to be high to eat that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so you don't regret the diarrhea that you'll have later.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
My God, to quote Dave Chappelle, man, I'm sure that shit would give you a mad case of mud butt. Oh my God. But yeah, so, which the CBD stuff, that's been an interesting development also, because I remember, Joseph was talking to me probably two months ago, maybe. And he said that all these restaurants had started getting CBD oil, and basically for whatever drink that you had, I mean, I think it was like literally didn't have to be like a cocktail or anything. It could be like a soft drink kind of thing. And they would put like 5 to 7 milligrams of CBD oil in your drink for like an additional like $7 or something like that, which I don't know. Have either of you guys, used CBD oil by chance? I mean, that shit's legal in Tennessee, so.
Yeah, I've never used it. I don't really understand what it is, because you hear people saying it can be used to treat a lot of different stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it sounds too good to be true, but then you see it for sale at gas stations here, and it's really bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I have not gone down that path, but I do know that they tout it to be used for like anxiety and pain and sleep and all these other things.
Yeah. It kind of seems like whatever the 2010s version of snake oil.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the other thing kind of to mention about it was and Matt, you might know, or honestly, either of you guys might have heard of this, but was CBD oil was it used for like irretractable like seizures or something like that in kids, or was that something else?
I think some derivative of it is used for that, and apparently it's one of the best and most effective treatments for it.
Yeah.
And so you'll hear stories about families moving to states with medical marijuana specifically to do this so their kids don't have seizures.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't think that the stuff that they're selling at the gas station down the street
at fucking Pilot.
I would not trust that.
Maybe it does. I don't know.
Flying J's not offering the apex of quality drugs. Jeez, that's so surprising. Oh, that's awesome. But yeah, man, that's I thought that was a pretty funny one to throw out there, especially considering it's called Rocky Mountain High. Like, come on, man.
Man, in these branding meetings they're having so much fun.
Oh, totally, man. Like, oh my God. Yeah. I mean, just coming up with the name. I would love to have the list of names that they went through for like what they were going to call it. But yeah, dude. So, I figured that was a good one to toss in. Even though CBD definitely doesn't have the psychoactive properties as THC, which is the active component of cannabis. If you're not familiar, so you're not going to get stony baloney off. If you pound 5 Rocky High burgers, you're just going to get mud butt.
Yeah, just diarrhea out the ass.
Yeah, it will turn your colon into a slip and slide. So
and you might need CBD oil for real.
Yeah, right. Oh my god.
Press all the anxiety from your neck shit.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my god. All right. Well, let's keep going and go. We're gonna take a little stroll down some EPA stuff, I guess. But I pulled this one from Engadget. Adidas made a running shoe that's fully recyclable. I thought this was kind of interesting, but at the same time, I just have a sneaking suspicion that which you get through this article, and I'm always one to read the article, and of course I have to go look at comments because the internet as a whole is just it's a gold mine for both idiots, funny jokes and quips, shit made down in comment sections, and people that are just really fucking mad about something. I'm not really sure. So
the comment section is always the best part of any article.
Yeah, exactly. Or YouTube video. Yeah. My God. But anyway, so Adidas, and by the way, did you guys know that Adidas was a German company?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
That makes sense, but I had no clue.
Yeah, I guess I just really hadn't thought about it that much, but yeah, so they mentioned that in here, and I was like, huh, okay, cool. Excuse me. So Adidas actually pledged to only use recycled plastics by 2024. So obviously they're kind of running out of time, so they had to get some shit manufactured quick. So they're using this material called TPU, or thermoplastic polyurethane. And these shoes that are being called Futurecraft Loops, they are made entirely out of this material. And so they literally say that the tongue, laces, upper and midsole with boost cushioning technology are all made out of this TPU. Now, honestly, I mean, I think that's really, really cool, and I know that the tech is out there to do this, but I'm kind of I'm trying to figure out who, I guess, is this an environmentally aware runner? Is that their target? You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like if you're really into running, you're probably not going to opt for this, for the sole reason that you might be able to get a better product that's not made entirely out of recycled plastics or whatever. So, but anyway, so, yeah, they have a breakdown in this article and actually show all the pieces disassembled. And it's kind of wild, man. It really is. And I wonder if they can, if all of them are going to be white, or if they'll be able to color them.
Well, they look like they're made out of styrofoam.
Yeah, they
which
really
is pretty much the exact opposite of being recyclable.
Yeah.
So what if it's some sort of sick joke?
Yeah, right. If it was on April 1st, I might call them out on that shit. So, but yeah, man, these are not going to be available anytime soon. I think they said 2021 is going to be the first time that they're available for the public at large. And I can't remember if they had a excuse me, if they had a potential price. I don't think so, but
you know what I'm kind of thinking though is, instead of making shoes that you can recycle, why don't they make shoes that you don't need to get rid of because they last longer?
So that was something else that was kind of interesting, because they did mention that, and I was talking to Megan, I was like, as a customer or consumer, I fucking love it.
Yeah.
But as a thinking from Adidas perspective, they're not going to sell any shoes if you can wear them forever.
Well, yeah,
right?
It's planned obsolescence.
Well, and so they're actually quoted. Let's see, an an executive board member at Adidas, Eric. I don't even know. You want to take a stab at that one? Liedtke. Anyway, Eric Liedtke.
My high school German is not really paying off right now.
Yeah, right.
Ich bin ein Moron.
Yeah, right. But anyway, so he was actually quoted as saying the next step is to end the concept of waste entirely. Our dream is that you can keep wearing the same shoes over and over again. Which I don't feel like that's a very good dream to have as a business.
They'll put themselves out of business.
Yeah. And so somebody actually said in the comments, and I thought it was kind of an interesting concept, but what about a shoe subscription? You know? Like you pay X amount and almost like what we do with like cell phones these days kind of thing. That it's like, oh, well, you know, most people are going to upgrade their cell phone about every 2 years, roughly, you know? And I think that they've basically come out with, these programs. I know Verizon has like, I think it's called the Verizon Edge or some shit like that. That you can pretty much trade in your phone. I think after a year, you basically have to pay off, I think like half of the phone or something like that. And then you can trade it in for a new model or whatever. So that would be really cool, you know, but then again, I was, you know, after thinking about it for a little bit, if you trade these shoes in that you've worn, I guess do you think that they could like replace the midsole or something? Because most shoes are going to conform to whoever's, you know, wearing them, right? Yeah. So I wouldn't think that they would be really like reusable.
I don't know how you pull that off.
Yeah, but yeah. So I don't know. I thought it was an interesting concept, and so I'll go ahead and give credit to who is this person? Well, never mind. I'm not going to give him credit. Oh yeah, here we go. Hercules. Hercules in the Engadget comments section. They should have a subscription for shoes. $50 a month, and you can change shoes anytime you want. Smiley face.
I'm not paying $50 a month for shoes.
It's like the Netflix of shoes.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's the thing, dude. Is I'm hating all this shit about like ownership is like almost a thing of the past. Like everything's turning into leases.
Oh, it's all leases.
And like subscriptions and like basically paying to have access to something. Mm-hmm. You know. But I don't know. I'm a complete and utter proponent of physical media and physical items. So yeah, this stuff is just whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway, we will go ahead and move on. So Matt, you sent this to me kind of late last night, and I was like, "Holy shit, yes, I'm on board." You wanna start us off on this one?
Yeah. So I actually found this through Gizmodo. Shout out Gizmodo. But they linked off to the original article with The Guardian. So in Washington, there is a church called Genesis Second Church of Health and Healing that is having a event here I believe it was this weekend, to promote their miracle cure that they are touting cures 95% of diseases in the world. Some of the diseases that they have claimed this can cure are malaria, Ebola, dengue fever, all types of cancer, diabetes, autism, HIV, and multiple sclerosis. This sounds too fucking good to be true. Am I right? Am I right?
Dude, you were talking about fucking CBD oil?
Yeah. Forget CRISPR. This is all we need.
So this is the only thing you'll ever need in your life. The miracle mineral solution.
Yeah, so if one were to want to subscribe to this and clear up some of those pesky diseases you've been dealing with, how would one go about doing that, Matt?
So if you would like to join the church over this weekend, you can donate $450 to attend this event, and they will provide you with membership to the church as well as a kit that contains sodium chloride and hydrochloric acid, which are the two components that you need to mix with, I believe it was citric acid, to make chlorine dioxide. That is what your miracle mineral solution is, which is an industrial bleach that is used for textile and by industrial water treatment plants.
Oh my god. That
So,
is so you're pouring an industrial cleaner down your fucking throat.
yes, you are. You. It has many applications actually. You can drink it. You can apply it topically. One gentleman of the church has actually injected this into his butt.
Naturally.
Naturally, yeah. It's like, why put it in my mouth when I can butt chug it?
Now, he may have been eating too much Hardee's.
Yeah, right.
Possibly.
He had too many Rocky burgers.
He may have been with that fraternity over in at UT. He may have just been trying to butt chug it, and things got a little weird.
Yeah. He's like, oh, I'm just trying to clear up my ulcerative colitis.
Yeah.
Here, somebody grab my legs and keister it, dude.
We're never gonna
Get
know
the
if
funnel,
it works
honey.
until somebody tries.
Yeah. Oh my god, dude, that is out fucking rageous. And so, Aaron and I were talking about this a little bit. Is this legal?
So it seems to be kind of a gray area. It has actually been banned for human consumption by the FDA.
Yeah.
But when contacted, the FDA also would not give any comments on any legal action towards the group at the moment.
Yeah.
Now, their leader, his name is Jim Humble. Just a little background on him real quick. He's a former Scientologist that claims to be a billion-year-old god, billion with a B, from the Andromeda Galaxy.
This guy sounds awesome.
Jesus,
Yeah.
dude. Honestly, he sounds like he needs to hook up with Jacqueline AIDS.
I know.
Right?
They can be sipping on this MMS.
Man, Disney's going to come after him.
Yeah, seriously, dude.
Yeah.
Well, he looks like a winner.
But
Yeah, no
this
shit.
guy, he lives apparently outside of Guadalajara in Mexico, and it's speculated that he is taking up residence here to avoid legal pursuit by the United States government.
That's very surprising, right?
Yeah, couldn't imagine why.
Yeah.
But the FDA has noted that this is definitely not safe for consumption. They've been warning people against its use for over a decade at this point.
Wait a second. So this has been going on for obviously years?
So it sounds like there's actually been multiple organizations that have tried to pass this off as a legitimate use or cure.
Yeah.
But yes, the FDA has been combating this issue for quite a while. Some of the side effects that they've noted with use of this is nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, severe dehydration. I believe one of the two articles I read even said that there was peeling of the intestinal lining happening with some people, which that may be
Jesus.
why you feel like you're clearing out some stuff there.
Yeah, you are clearing out some stuff. Your own fucking intestines. Yeah, dude. I saw also in this they were talking about acute renal failure.
Yes.
Which is obviously something that you would want to risk for fucking clearing up some rash or whatever on your back by taking some MMS.
Now, so
they
one
said
guy was actually sent to jail over this, though.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, this guy in Washington was sent to jail for 4 years in 2015.
For hawking it?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Fucking wow, dude.
And it says
This is just unbelievable.
they've made infants drink it. I want to know what happened to those kids.
Yeah. Well, the miracle cure in Tennessee is Mountain Dew, so. The only problem is it cures everything and leaves you with diabetes. So. Oh my God.
We call it diabetes.
Diabetes. Diabetes.
Yep.
Oh my God, dude. Well, I guess you could. Oh my God, this is just absolutely fucking yeah. This dude that you were talking about, Matt. I put it in my eyes, my nose, my ears, bathed in it, drunk it, breathed it in my lungs. I got injected in my butt with it. This dude is just bombarding his body with MMS. So
Yeah.
God.
We'll see what he
Absolutely.
looks like in a few years.
Yeah, no shit, dude. It's like, didn't we cover something semi recently, Matt, that it was like a dude that was injecting like semen into himself or something like that. Do you remember that?
You told me about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds familiar. I don't think I was on the episode with you, but
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, dude. It was absolutely fucking bizarre, dude. Like
he was taking it almost like a steroid.
Yeah. It was something like that. And like dude, he was literally injecting, and I can't remember if it was like, was it his own semen?
I would hope so.
God.
It was super, super fucking weird,
and
man.
I think he was hospitalized?
Yeah, because he ended up with like basically a, oh my gosh. Matt, help me out. What happens when a space happens with an abscess?
An infiltration?
No, an abscess. That's what
Gotcha.
It was. Yeah, he ended up with like a big ass fucking abscess, and like they ended up having to like treat him with some like super hardcore antibiotics or something like that. But
did they drain it? It was just nothing but jizz inside.
Yeah,
semen overdose.
God. Hey, we've all been there, right? right, guys.
You gonna leave me hanging?
I don't know if I'll ever be that desperate for muscles.
Yeah, dude. But yeah, that was just fucking bizarre. But anyway, so just
hey, they got splicing too, Dan. If you're interested, $800.
Shit. Well, you know what? This is a PSA from Tether Radio Podcast. Don't fucking take this. Don't drink fucking like industrial cleaners, no matter what they're touted to do. So,
I mean, if anything, just huff it.
Yeah, yeah. Just huff it. Don't inject it. Don't drink it. But anyway, with that, I believe we are wrapping the episode. So I'm gonna go ahead and do our social media outro, and so this has been the Tether Radio Podcast, episode 45. If you would like to give us some feedback, we would love nothing more. You can hit us up at tetherradio@gmail.com. That's TETHERRADIO at gmail.com. If you want to hit us up on Twitter, we are at tether_radio. On Instagram, same thing, at tether_radio. Facebook, we are Tether Radio, one word. I would not put any of your personal information on there because they leak it everywhere. We're basically giving it away to people for a small price that you'll never see the money from. So, but anyway, so this has been Tether Radio. Thank you guys for joining me. Thank you, Matt, for helping host this stuff. Like you really pulled me out of a bind, brother.
Yeah, no problem, man. I'm just glad I made it through the whole thing.
Yeah, right. And sorry to spring this shit. I basically hit Matt up very, very short notice to help me out with this stuff. And yeah, I just really, really appreciate it. And also, Aaron, thank you for coming on, dude.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. And obviously, we would love to have both of you back.
For sure.
Whether it's guest hosting, just guesting, what the fuck ever, man. Don't matter. But anyway, so this has been Tether Radio. I'm your host, Daniel, and yeah, we hope you guys have a fantastic week. Join us next week, and have a good one.